Welcome to Momentum Monday. Hi, I'm Dana Middleton, your host. Today, we're going to be talking about a subject that I am so excited to talk about that I've been saving up for. And today is the day. And it's about, are you willing to be adored? Now, that may sound weird. It's like, okay, this is a place for aligned artists. What are we doing about, what are we talking about being adored for? And we're talking about being adored for a very important reason. If you are a creative person, if you have a creative career, you need to allow people to adore you. You need people to allow to adore your work, so you can just focus on the work, not the chase. Wouldn't it be nice to be chased instead in a positive way? And that's one reason that fear of, oh, will it be positive if people are adoring me? It brings up some discomfort. And we're going to talk and tap about that today. In order to be a good receiver, you have to let people in. You have to be seen. You have to be willing to be loved, liked, adored. And that's really what this comes down to, right? Is how much are you willing to let people in and really, really get you? That I know we all think, oh, of course I want to be adored. I love when people applaud me or when people, say great things about me, but take it out there to the next big stage, right? Put yourself in the big spotlight. Feel that adoration. I know that, it's something that as an artist that you think, oh yeah, this is no problem. But if you aren't feeling that in your life, if you aren't feeling that in casting offices, if you aren't feeling that, when you're getting your book out into the world, maybe this is a mindset tweak that can really help you get to that next level. All right. So if you were adored as a child, you've got a built-in shortcut. Think about it, right? If you were like everything in your family, then you expect to be adored. You expect that when you come in and say, ta-da, that everybody's going to clap and love you, right? That's an expectation that gets built in from childhood because it's just what happened, right? So we bring that expectation into adulthood, and you actually have a belief that I deserve to be adored. It's not even conscious because you are, and that's it. So good for you if that's your situation. However, a lot of us weren't, adored just across the board, right? Often you might have felt maybe vagueness. Maybe your parent was often distracted or wasn't there. You might have had criticism or even attacks. So wherever you are on that spectrum, are you getting that back as an adult instead of feeling adored, right? If your parent was kind of vague and not there, you might be getting that back in your creative career. Like, I do all this great work and I put it out and nothing, I don't get much back. Or I put something out there on social media or something else, and I actually get criticized, or get shamed. Look back, ask yourself, are these feelings I felt before, right? Did I feel that kind of vagueness before as a child? And I'm getting it now. Did I feel that criticism or shaming before? Okay, so it kind of gets built in if it happened early on, and we start to believe we deserve that kind of treatment. Of course, you don't. You don't. And that's why I do this work, because I want to help you, me, all of us cultivate new beliefs that actually support us and give us what we want. Being adored is kind of a big deal. Vagueness for sure. There's a comment. I love it. Yeah, vagueness is a big deal. And if we get that as children, I got some of that as a child. You just expect it. And it's so frustrating to do good work and just get back, nothing. Get back, yeah, feelings of dimming my light. Okay, yeah. So whatever it is that you've got going on, it's so frustrating. It is so frustrating. And we want to move through that. And the way we move through that is to identify the frustration. Yeah, I'm getting all this vagueness. This really sucks. And we'll be doing that in a minute. And then start turning it around, making being adored safe. Now think about that. If you're actually adored, my fear being adored was I'm just going to attract a bunch of weirdos, a bunch of needy, difficult people. It's going to be awful. Have you ever felt like that? Or I'm going to attract something I don't want. So yeah, it's safe to be adored. where it feels good, where it's a win-win on both sides, if that comes up for you. Or if I'm adored, it'll be too much. People will think I'm a narcissist. It'll be uncomfortable. It'll be wrong. I mean, there's so many beliefs we have going on around feeling adored. And we're going to tap around that in just a minute. Because think about, what would it feel like and what would it do for your creative career if you were actually adored, right? Think about people in, in the media or whatever who are adored. They don't have to chase after people buying their books or buying their music or watching their shows. People want to see them. They are adored. And that takes out a huge step where it just makes you visible and people want to be a part of your world, which feels good. But when you really sit in that energy, it can feel uncomfortable. So let's take a moment, and I want you to just tune in to being adored. Maybe close your eyes and say the statement, I'm adored. I am so adored. I am adored. What comes up? Does it feel good? Feels good? You're done. See you later. If it feels a little weird, if it feels there's a little bit of mixed energy, or like, oh, no, that's too much, let's do some tapping. Because on the other side of this is, oh, I'm adored and it's easy and it's all win-win and it opens up my career and it's worth it. It's just one of those shortcuts that I want to help you cultivate in your mindset. So let's do some tapping. So we're going to start right here on the karate chop point. As usual, we're going to start just by saying the ugly, right? What comes up around this idea of being adored? And repeat after me. And when we say this, we're breaking up this energy. We're letting it go, and by acknowledging it. So even though I'd like to be adored, but it feels kind of scary, I'm willing to accept myself anyway. Even though it would be really amazing to be adored as an artist, I just feel uncomfortable. Wouldn't it be great for it to feel safe to be adored? Take a breath. If you're breathing, taking breaths, yawning, it's all working. You're moving energy. Even though I'm scared of being adored, but I'd love to be adored. I just don't know how to get there from here yet. Okay, so now let's go to the eyebrow point, everybody, and repeat after me. I want to be adored, but outside the eye, it's too scary. Under the eye, I'm afraid I'll attract people who aren't safe. Under the nose, I'm afraid I'll attract the weirdos. On the chin, or I'm just afraid I'll attract those people who really don't make me feel very good. Under the collarbone, I'm scared of being really adored. Middle of the chest, that if I'm really adored, there'll be a spotlight on me. Under the arm, and I feel like I'll be out of control. Top of the head, the vagueness and criticism that I've received in the past feels more comfortable. Go back to the eyebrow point, because it keeps me small. Outside the eye, it reminds me of how I was treated as a child. Under the eye, there was so much vagueness. I really didn't feel like I got a lot of attention. Under the nose, or there was so much criticism and shame that I got negative attention. Take a breath. on the chin. And both of these play out in such frustrating ways in my career now. On the collarbone. I'm so frustrated when I do a great audition and I get crickets back. Middle of the chest. That's a kind of vagueness that feels familiar and sad. Under the arm. And it's so frustrating when I get shamed or criticized when I take the spotlight. Top of the head. That feels so familiar and hurtful. Back to the eyebrow point. I am really scared to be adored outside the eye, because in part it feels so very unfamiliar and unsafe. Under the eye. But what would it do if I could actually open up to some adoration? Under the nose. Yeah, it might be scary at first, but wouldn't it make my life so much easier? On the chin. Wouldn't it be amazing if I put myself out there and got great responses back? Under the collarbone. Wouldn't it be amazing if I felt all this positive response? Middle of the chest. It would change everything for me. Under the arm. So I'm willing to gently start to open to this concept now. Top of the head. Where I can be adored and everything can work out great. Okay. Excellent job, guys. Take a breath, take a stretch. Oh, take a yawn. If you yawned, we move some energy. Now, we may have just skimmed the tip of the iceberg on this one. You know, if you really suffered from a lot of vagueness growing up when you were like, yeah, I'm putting on a show and nobody was really paying attention, I really hope you on your own will now do some tapping and go, you know what? I remember putting on those shows and nobody paid attention and it really hurt my feelings and it made me feel like nobody cared. And it, you know, air out all of those feelings. You can journal them. If tapping's a little bit frustrating, you can journal them. And that's okay. I'm doing this. I don't know why, but if you can journal your thoughts about this. Like, I'd like to be adored, but journal it, put it all out there, and then you can go back and just every sentence tap on a point. You know, I feel this. I felt this. This happened, and this really sucked. Because the act of airing out these old beliefs helps you to break them up so that you're not continuing to carry this expectation into your life now. And that's what it's all about. Then your frustration starts to end because you're not just wired for more vagueness or wired for more criticism or whatever it is. You become wired for acceptance, wired to be loved, wired to be adored. And that's just this mindset that I want to help you consider. I was about to say cultivate, but just consider, because it can change so much by thinking about this, by tapping about this, by journaling about this. What's wrong with being adored? Thank you very much for being here today, everyone. Play around with this idea. Could you be adored? Is it safe to be adored? Are you willing to be adored? What would happen if you were actually adored? Positive and maybe the negatives. And once we can really process those negatives, we can get more aligned with the positives and then let that in. And once it's safe to be adored, once you're willing to be adored, I truly believe your creative career has the permission almost to go to that next level. So please, in the comments, let me know how this goes for you during the week. I'll see you again in a couple of weeks here. I've got something I'm so excited to talk about then too. I'm really excited about our Momentum Monday. So I'm very glad you're here. Yeah, so give this a try and let me know how it goes. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.